Today's Silver Age video is going to be covering Zen. Not just any Zen deck, this is going to be using Hope Merchant's Hood to kind of abuse the fact that the deck will make tiger tokens to your hand. So we'll start with the hero for people unfamiliar. Zen is a Mystic Ninja hero, so the Mystic talent is going to play a lot with Transcending. These dual-face chi cards, once they are transformed, you can pitch them for the chi cost. And when you do this, you're going to create a Crouching Tiger token in your hand, and then you're going to get to search your deck for any card with combo, and then you can play it this turn. So it's basically like a tutor effect similar to Katsu. A Crouching Tiger token is just an ephemeral attack. So you play it for 0, and it disappears from the game. What's kind of interesting is that this is a actual card that you will generate in your hand. It is to be sleeved like the rest of your deck. And if you have like an effect that would bottom a card from your hand or shuffle a card into your deck, you can do this with the tigers. Eventually you will redraw these, and this will be part of like your 4 cards you drop at the end of your turn. So there's a risk to this. But when combined with Hope Merchant's Hood, we are able to generate multiple tigers in our hand. And then because this format is so fast, if we are to make like, let's say 2 or 3 tokens, shuffle them into our deck, and then draw 3 red cards or 2 reds and a blue to pitch for our curve and beat our opponent in that single turn. This is like a turn, 3 to 4 format. We don't really have to worry about the risk of eventually redrawing those like brick cards in the deck. So this deck is very explosive, plays very combo focused, but when it does the thing properly, it is very powerful. But this deck inherently has a lot more variance compared to like the aggro decks that we covered on the channel a couple days ago, like Fi and Briar. Those are very consistent, strong decks. This thing has an insane ceiling, but also has some pretty low lows. To run through the equipment, Kakara is just a 2 for 3 basically, because it swings for 2. Your tiger is going to get +1. It's just probably the best weapon this deck can play right now. We're running the tiger chest, the tiger arms, and then specifically we have the Stride of Reprisal and the boot slot, because this will put a tiger token in your hand. You can see where this is going. You're just going to block with this. This basically just says block 1, draw a card, because you're going to make a tiger token in your hand and then Hope Merchant's Hood it and then draw a new card. This is the overall deck. It is fairly complex to play. Even replaying the deck for the channel today with some of these example games, I was having to remember how to play Zen lines. I played Zen in CC when he was legal. Some of them are like kind of complex, basically needing to know how to layer your transcend cards. All the chi cards have this condition where you need to play another blue card in order to transcend them. Once you resolve it, and you have transcended, this will come back to your hand flipped as just a chi. This is still a blue card. You can use this to pitch for, anything else in the deck. Specifically, this chi resource will also let you pitch the hero power. So it's very important that you're transcending, because transcending means that you're able to do the tutor effect to make a tiger in hand. It's how the deck works. There's a lot of different ways you can tutor. The most obvious one is you play like a blue card with go again. So you can go like Biting Breeze, play any of these chi cards basically, and then transcend it back to your hand. There's some more innocuous ones, like you can double transcend by playing a chi and then holding priority in the layer step before the card is resolved. You can't let the card resolve. If you do let it resolve, let's say you play Homage, you will play it, and then if you pass priority and your opponent lets it resolve, it just gains 1 and goes to the graveyard. But if you hold priority and then in response to playing the Homage, let's say you play Passover. The Passover, once it resolves, will see that you played the Homage. So it sees that you have played a blue this turn, and then this will resolve, transcending itself back to your hand as a chi card. And then the Homage that's still on the stack will also resolve, gain you a life, see that you have played a blue card this turn. It'll also return to your hand as a chi card. So whenever you draw 2 chi, totally viable just to play them in response to each other and just get your transcend. It'll be a little bit awkward if you have something like Pathful Traveled or Grain that tips the scale, where you need something on the chain to target first, but the rest of them can just be ripped like just with your starting hand before you play anything. Another easy one is Wind Chakra. So Wind Chakra, you can play blue Wind Chakra in response before the card resolves. You can play your transcend card, it'll transcend, your Wind Chakra resolves, you get the transcended portion, so now your tiger is going to get +3. And then for the rest of the deck, we'll run through it. Aspect of Tiger Bodies lets you glue together some combo lines where you need multiple tigers, or hands where you shuffle back all the tigers into your deck to draw, like red ninja attacks basically. This will let you still get like a tiger payoff if you need the tiger keyword for some of the combo lines. Bittering Thorns is just aggro, Growl is just aggro. Harmony of the Hunts, we're going to play a lot of these. These just put a tiger in our hand, which synergizes with the hood. That's what this deck wants to do. 100 Winds is just aggro, but we, with some of these cards, especially like with 100 Winds, you can go 100 Winds from hand, chi pitch to Zen, go tutor for your other 100 Winds, play that for 4. We have Pouncing Key. This is a good one to know. So you can go If you just have one card left in hand and it's a chi, you can just go pitch to Zen, make your Tiger, play it for 0, but then play your Pouncing Key that you're going to tutor off the Zen for 4. Your chi will always be worth 4 in the deck as long as you have Pouncing Keys available, and this will just kind of let you extend some of the damage. And then, big enders are going to be things like Key Unleashed. You're able to scale the damage based on how many blues you have in hand or how many tigers you have. Because you could go, let's say, Tiger, Pouncing Key, and then you can play Aspect to Tiger Body because you play the Pouncing Key and it was a red. That generates you another Tiger. You play the Tiger, you play Key Unleashed. So it's going to take a lot of getting used to. You're going to have to play this deck a lot to kind of like put together most of the lines. But it usually is pretty straightforward. It mainly is just like send Kakara, send a Tiger, send something that combos with the Tiger, or like you'll have something where you have 2 Tiger cards and one of them's like Pouncing Key, and you can go like Pouncing Key, play the Aspect of Tiger Body, make another Tiger. If you don't have 2 Tigers available, make the other one, play your finisher. We have Tiger Form Incantation. This is basically exactly the same as Harmony of the Hunt. It just waits to give the buff on the Tiger. The trade-off is that it blocks for 3. The reason why I like the Harmonies is because we want to shuffle the Tigers most of the time. So having to actually resolve the Tiger to get the +3 payoff is a little bit worse than just attacking for 3 and then just ditching the Tiger and never needing to play it. Wind Chakra is really powerful. The blue transcends really well and is a 0 for 3. The red's a 0 for 5. That's why we're playing it. And then Biting Brace is just like a really good opener at blue, lets you transcend and threatens to hit that Tiger. Our sideboard's pretty clean. It's just AB, some tall blocking potential against Azalea if you want, some aggro blocking if you want with Wax On. This can be also like kind of evasive blocking. So if you're playing Azalea and she dominates something, you can block with this from Arsenal. And then you have Arcane Polarity against the Arcane decks. The maybe board is just 4 copies of Spinning Wheel Kick. I was interested in trying this out, but didn't have time. Just adding more combo cards you can tutor that just present more raw damage, I think might end up being what the deck wants to do. So maybe some of the Tiger payoffs just become more raw damage, basically. But overall, that's a deck, so we'll jump into the games. So we're on the play versus Briar, and we have a hand that transcends, so I think we're just going to go ahead, put the Passover in Arsenal. They now have a card that we can banish, and then on our next turn, we're going to Wind Chakra and then Passover, so we get the +3 off the Wind Chakra, we get our Transcend, and then our goal here is that we are just going to say no blocks, but we're probably going to block with the Striders. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make 3 Tigers in hand and then reshuffle them in with Zen and then hopefully draw actual cards to play. I don't know if my opponent's going to send another card after this, so we're going to go ahead and block with our equipment here. If they send Snatch, I was never going to block with the card anyway. I would just let them have the card draw. So I might as well cash it in now in case if they just want to Arsenal and then I'm just stuck with all this armor that I needed to use. Over to us now. We're going to go ahead and hopefully just deal 1,000,000 damage basically. So we're going to play Wind Chakra, holding priority. We're going to play our Chi. We're going to, I guess, we'll banish Blossom of Spring, I suppose. And then we might as well just play Stir the Pot. Just have another Chi in the deck. So now we have that available. We are going to send Harmony of the Hunt, and this is going to make a Tiger in hand. And now we get to do some pretty crazy stuff. We're going to go ahead and send Growl, because Growl is a really good card in the hand. We're going to, I guess if I had to pick one thing that we probably want to play this turn, it would probably end up being the Key Unleashed with the resources, although we have Kakara, which is worth 3 anyway, so I think it ends up kind of being about the same. Or we could grab Aspect of Tiger Body. That actually might be the most beneficial here, because that way we can make a Tiger, which means that we can shuffle everything else in our hand. So we're going to go ahead and pop Hood, and then we're going to turn these 3 tokens into actual cards from the deck. So we end up redrawing one of the Crouching Tigers, which is a little awkward. But we did draw 200 Winds, which is pretty insane. So we're going to go ahead and set 100 Winds for 1, this one for 4, there are 100 Winds. And then we have the question if we want to use the Aspect of Tiger Body here. We're going to send Kakara, and then we're going to have a Tiger come in for a ton of damage. We could even pop the Shuko here. I guess we probably should. And then we'll send this in for 7. We ended up missing on a point of damage, redrawing the Tiger. I'm still kind of okay with this line because, like I said, if we didn't redraw a Tiger and we drew Tiger payoffs, we would need an actual card in hand that interacts with the Tigers. Prop Bracers for +2, 5 with the on hit. That's fine. I guess the only thing we need to consider is if they could Lightning Press it, but they showed one on top of the deck, so I know that it's not in their hand. We need to think about our turn, I guess. I suppose we could block with one of our cards. Blood Scent, so we have access to all 4 resources. I guess we might as well block for 3 here. We can't really use our entire hand. Now we know they have a Lightning Press though. Definitely makes things kind of awkward for us. Start by sending Bittering Thorns. We end up losing 1 point of damage here though, which is like kind of awkward because we can use the chest for the 2 damage, but it comes at the cost of us not getting the +1 off the Kakara. We get a block for 4. We might as well, I guess, pressure lethal here. All right, so my opponent says no blocks in the Tiger. We're gonna pop chest here and just send Kakara. My opponent gives us a whole card, so they're now down to 1. And we know that the last card in their hand is a Lightning Press, so we're just going to play accordingly. This is going to come in for 3, but we know we need to at least block with 1 card. So we're just going to block for 3 on this. They'll Lightning Press, and then we'll take 3, we'll go to 1. And then we'll just play Harmony. This will come in for 1, it'll take a whole card. We'll play Kakara, it'll take a card. We'll play our Crouching Tiger, it'll take a card, and then Pouncing Key should close out the game on this turn. If they have something like Sigil of Suffering, then we actually end up losing on this turn, but I'm perfectly fine just playing that out. If everything looks good, this should be the match. I guess it depends on if they have a 4 block non-attack as their last card. If that's the case, then they'll get to live another turn and we'll have to find a way to close out lethal. All right, looks like they don't have it, so we barely get there. So we're playing in a Vynnset here. She opens up with Malefic and then Phantom Wraith and Banish. Really, really good start. Our hand is not very good. The hope here is that we can arsenal one of the Wind Chakras and get like a pretty decent Transcend turn online, but in terms of actual raw damage, this hand does almost nothing. It's definitely not great for us. If we were to put 1 card in arsenal, I guess we'd prefer to have the Red Wind Chakra. It's just more damage. The blue one's really good though because it lets us Transcend off of it. I think we'll probably be able, with the Chi count in the deck, probably be able to do like a double Transcend. And we're just getting Beckoner blocks from my opponent. We'll just come in with the Kakara for 2 and then the Tiger for 1. Insanely anemic turn 2. This deck, when it is not transcending, does very little damage. So we just did what, like a 3-card 4 or something? I mean, just absolutely terrible rates. The hope though is that when we do our combo turn, it makes up for everything. We're still not drawing Transcend cards, which is pretty awkward. I was going to play Mob Skies red. We're going to block for 6. I would really like to just 3-card hand, play the Harmony, play the Tiger, and then play the Hunt, but it's just not going to happen. They actually pummel this. That's pretty insane. I'm going to play another red Mob Skies. Wow. Okay. So yeah, we're like dead. This is crazy. We're like super dead. It's going to make 3 Rune Chants. Can we actually afford to let this hit? I guess we actually can't. I think we actually need to stop the extra 3 here. Like I need to live 1 more turn. So we're just going to make a Tiger in hand and do, I guess, like literally nothing with it. I guess we could shuffle it in with the Hope Merchant's Hood. Man, this is bad. And then they're going to send Flail here. Flail is unfortunately going to connect, which means that they get a Rune Chant. So they can basically Rune Gate any card that they want. Do we care enough to actually do anything, or do we just play the Tiger and pass? I really have no idea. I don't know how we actually win this game. I guess we win this game at this point by having my opponent brick. So we're just going to pass turn. This hand almost does stuff. We really need a resource to transcend here. I mean, it's a very good setup. I guess it is going to let us have damage though, and I guess that's important. They're going up to 5 Rune Chants, and then they're going to send Flail. So we have to take all the Rune Chants. The question is, are we taking the Flail or not? So is there any way that we can actually get a Tiger? We unfortunately had to use our boots last turn. If we had our boots, this hand actually plays pretty well. We can go a Tiger, pop the Blood Scent, play the Tiger form, transcend off the Stir the Pot, and then we can play the rest of our hand out. Now, unfortunately, because of what happened, this hand actually does almost nothing. We can play the Tiger form, but it actually doesn't really help us out in any particular way. I really don't know what we're supposed to do here. I think we're just supposed to take a really greedy line and maybe just reshuffle some of these cards. The other alternative is we could pitch to play the Tiger form. That's a really terrible rate, but once again, I don't actually know how we're supposed to win this game. So I think we're just going to play the Tiger form. This lets us transcend off the Stir the Pot. We don't even make a Tiger in hand though, which is really, really awkward. We can at least still Zen pitch. Do we want to? I suppose we could grab the 100 wins and then we can, no, because we have the Tiger. The Tiger works just fine. And we need to have the Tiger for the Wind Chakra. So we actually just have to play his whole hand. This hand really sucks. Well, it's not that the hand really sucks. It's just that we lost 3 damage, you know, not having a blue instead of having to pitch the red aspect of body. Overall, it's just like not super great for us. My opponent also now just has lethal on the table because they have 3 rune chance and we don't have a way to kill them. So we're going to attack out here, but there's actually like 0 point because our opponent can just literally block out if they want to and send flail and we lose. So we're just going to do this for the sake of it. But with this, we're going to move on to our next match. We're on the play versus Scurv here. Our hand does absolutely nothing. I guess we could consider sending Bittering Thorns and then arsenal one of the pouncing keys. Bittering Thorns is overall a pretty good card, but I just want to kind of keep the 0 cost, and then we can put the Key Unleash back in the deck. And maybe we'll get lucky and get an extra block. Okay, no, we do not. But we actually end up winning the clash, which is pretty crazy. So now we have a gold token. I don't really know what that actually does for us, but now we know that there's actually a growl on top of the deck. So I actually think I am going to potentially send 1 more card here. It's because I know that the next hand is, as far as I know, not going to like flood me with like blues to transcend with. So we know that we're drawing 1 red. We might as well clear another red out of hand. And we're just going to arsenal 100 wins. Now we actually get to draw into double transcend, which is pretty sweet. The main problem though is that we have to target something to give it go again. I guess what we can do here is we can play the growl, double transcend, and then we can use our blue and use Kakara Bittering Thorns, use our other blue to Zen. Looks like my opponent's gonna hit off Swell Blind. That's crazy. So we may just end up losing this game because they just ripped that. I don't know how important it was for their turn, but I guess okay, so the trade-off is a Murderous Rabble comes in for 1. We know they have Pummel on top of their deck. That's scary. So we're gonna have to play accordingly with that in mind. It just means that we're just gonna deal a ton of damage next turn. We actually may decide to combo instead if that's the case. We can also crack the gold and opt out of the Kakara. If we crack the gold with one of our cheese, we'll still have the resource available for Bittering Thorns, and then we can do everything else perfectly fine. So that actually might be in a kind of interesting play line. My opponent just rips the nuts here. I mean, we're just gonna get our Tiger in hand. We know they're gonna draw Pummel, so we kind of need them to be forced to block out here. With all this in mind, we're gonna come in with the growl, and then they're gonna get to block with the light fingers though if they really want to. Looks like it's not gonna happen though, so we're gonna go ahead and do our double transcend here, banish their equipment for fun. So we get all this. Now we gotta do stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate Zen, and we have some options. I think grabbing the Key Unleash probably makes the most sense. We need to think about the damage here, so it's pretty much the same either way. I guess the only thing though is if we grab the 100 wins like what we talked about, we can filter off the gold. So I guess that probably makes more sense here. It also means that we can shuffle back with the 2 tigers. So we'll go ahead and we'll activate our gold here, see what we draw. We draw nothing playable. I guess what we can do here though is we can actually filter this back, so we can just get a life, transcend it, and then we're gonna hope merchants hit everything back here. So we'll go ahead and dump it all back, see what we draw. We draw some crazy gas actually, so this hand just got way better. Bittering Thorns, I don't know if they can pummel with 3 cards though, because they did block with the bark, so I'm assuming that they're gonna have to give us some cards here this turn, and then that means that they're probably not gonna do anything disruptive on their turn. They're definitely not gonna pressure lethal. I should play the Rising Sun Setting Moon and just filter 1 more card down, see if we draw anything important. That's actually way more important. So actually no, this hand turned out fine. So nothing here changes. We're just going to, I guess, bottom the 100 wins, pressure a lot more in a single turn. Because now what we can do is we can play the aspect of Tiger Body. We're gonna make a Tiger and banish. Okay, so now this all kind of is coming together. So now what we can do is we can go close the chain, and then we can go Kakara, Tiger for 6, and then 100 wins for 4, or for 3 and 4. We could even pop the Shuko. I guess it makes the most sense to do it on this turn. I know my opponent doesn't really have anything important to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to close the chain, play our Wind Chakra, and then we'll activate our Shuko. We're going to go ahead and send Kakara. We got 3 Chi and Pitch now. This is crazy. And then we're going to go 2, and then we're going to go, I think that's going to be coming in for 8, and then we're going to do 7 more. My opponent's going to get their Beckoner blocks here. My opponent says no blocks, so we're just going to send 100 wins and 100 wins. They take the 3. I'm assuming they're going to take the 4 just because they're holding Pummel. It's an important card for the deck, and it kind of blocks for 2. I guess it depends on how they view they need to win the matchup at this point. All right, looks like they are blocking with the Pummel. That's at least good for us. You don't have to really worry because I don't think they can really pressure 11 with just like a raw, like 4-card hand. I guess they can definitely pressure 9 though, so we'll probably have to consider if we want to clear Sticky Fingers or not. So we have some options. I think if we send the Biting Breeze, they're just going to put Light Fingers in front of it. I guess we can force that play though, so we'll send it at face. And then we'll probably have to go Harmony at the Octopus, and then we'll go Kakara at them, Tiger at them, and then we're going to Arsenal Aspect. Unfortunately, this doesn't actually even pressure lethal though, so if my opponent actually has a good 4-card hand, we are in trouble here. So we could actually opt to not send it at the ally. This is kind of interesting, but hear me out on this one. Our hand doesn't pressure lethal, so my opponent's free to keep cards, but if they keep any cards, unless if it's something like if they're like pitching into Swell or whatever, then they're gonna have an action point strain between the card they want to resolve and the fingers. So like if they are just gonna play like, let's say what is it, Money or Your Life, it doesn't have go again, so like we don't need to target the ally here, and we're sending such wide inefficient attacks that it almost doesn't make sense for them to like block out with 4 cards so they can like convert the ally to swinging for 2. So my assumption is that my opponent is going to actually keep cards here to send back at us, and in that case I think that we're okay just sending all of it face, and then we're going to see what they do. If they don't block at all, it could be Pummel, which is like pretty unfortunate. It also could be something like Swell. I think I'm mainly trying to figure out if I want to resolve the Aspect here for 3, because if they end up just like 2-carding us and arsenaling, then it's awkward. Like we need to consider what we have left in deck. We have no Bittering Thorns, we have no red 100 Winds, we actually don't really have any red starters anymore. I guess we have a Pouncing Key. I'm going to take a really risky line and just say my opponent cannot convert the 4 cards, and we're just going to Arsenal and pass here. This hand is very good if we can get away with only blocking with like 2 cards here. My opponent didn't snap block, and it seemed like they were really mulling over how they were blocking this turn, so I'm assuming that it doesn't convert super cleanly, like someone just like Money or Your Life plus a Pummel. Because if they had that, I think they would just snap no block the whole turn. They're going to play Wage Gold. That does not pressure lethal. The question is, do we want to play around red Pummel? We're going to play Wind Chakra, but we can't actually transcend. We need to keep cards here. I'm just going to say no blocks, and if we lose to red Pummel, I'll take the L, I guess. Okay, we get lucky, so we get to keep everything here. So we're going to go Biting Breeze, and we're going to send this at face. I don't think they're going to commit a whole card to blocking it, because I'm assuming that they probably think a lot more damage is coming this turn. In that case, we'll get to Grains it up to 2, which will put them down to 1. We're going to get to Wind Chakra here for +3. We now have a Tiger and Banish. So this hand is going to hopefully rip everything. So then we'll go ahead and send the Tiger. This will go at face. They're going to make a gold. What we need to do here now is we need to play Pouncing Key from deck. Or we have a couple, actually, we have like 2 options here. So we could also go Key Unleashed as well. Let me do the math. We have 4 resources available between the chest. So I guess I could be okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll go with that line actually. So we'll go ahead. We'll send Kakara. We'll send this face as well, and then Key Unleashed should wrap up the matchup here. We'll pop the chest piece, and then it'll be Tiger for 1. This will take a whole card. Yeah, they're over dead by quite a bit here because we're sending 7. Definitely like a little risky on that Wage Gold line, but it was just like, I kind of mathed it out, and it was like, if we block for 3 to play around dying to pummel and they pummel it, our hand kind of doesn't do anything. So I think I just need to play to the out that if they had a red pummel, we take the loss, but if they have anything else, we can play out our hand. So overall, I think it paid off pretty well. But those were the games for today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the deck, and if you give it a go, let me know how it works out for you. Until next time, thank you for watching.